Hello, my name's Dale, and here's a file to hopefully help explain the different bone bindings. Okay. Um, I have two layers. Okay, they're identical. One has uh, the bone offset tool, and the other one doesn't. So let's hide layer 2 and work on layer 3 here, and go in and look at the binding. Now I'm going to switch to flexible binding, so I'm going to hit OK, and I'm going to go down the timeline. I generally make a rule of going down timeline to check bindings or anything that I've done on frame 0. I go down the timeline to check. Okay, I don't rely on what happens on frame 0 to see what's really going on. So, as you can see in flexible binding, okay, let me zoom in on this. Everything within the bone strength gets manipulated. And if I increase the bone strength, okay, and it of course changes more of the rest of the character. And remember, this is all on one layer. Okay. So that's flexible binding. So let's see what happens with regional binding. Okay, I'm going to go down time. Now I haven't changed that bone strength, so let's see what happens. Now, even though it has the same bone strength, okay, it's affecting only the region where the strength is. Okay, as you can see, it's only affecting where this is. So that's basically the two main differences. Now, if you crank up the bone strength, okay, you can get it to behave like flexible binding. Okay. So that's a thought on how you're going to bind. Okay, so let's go to using offsets. Now I got this with the bone offset tool, and I clicked on the bone offset tool, nothing happened. Okay, that's because it's already in play. So let me go to just select bone, and as you can see, it pops back to where this layer was originally drawn. And if I go back and I click on the offset tool, it pushes it back. And so let's see. Okay. So anyway, that's how you deal with the offset tool. Now, let's look at the bindings and the effects when you do this. So flexible binding, using the offset tool, oh, no more flexible binding. Okay. Maybe because the bone strength's too low. Let's go back and crank up the bone strength. Okay. Now you can see how I cranked it up. It's still not really changing anything. Okay. So let's go to regional binding and see what happens. Okay. Now I have the bone strength really high, and it's not really doing that much. Okay. I mean, I could really come back here and crank it up to the point of, oops, silliness, and then you get this popping action. But for the most part, flexible binding makes things that are further down the chain, considering this bone would be up the chain, this bone's down the chain of hierarchy, it manipulates them. Okay? Regional binding, you don't get as much. Or if you're using the offset tool, you get none. Well, Okay, so that's the bindings. And let's move on to uh, point binding. So I just drew this, okay, and I'm going to add 2 bones, and I'm going to bind the points to them. Now all the points are highlighted, so I want to click on nothing and make sure that nothing is highlighted for the moment for this example. And the way you bind the points on point binding is you pick the bone that you want to bind to, and then you select the points and bind points. Then you pick a bone, select the points, and bind points. Now I can test here and see what happens. But you can also see that I've got this strength. So let's get rid of the bone strength. Oh, actually, let's do it this way. 0. Select none. Go down the timeline. And it's still bending, with the points being controlled. And of course, you'd use a smart bone to fix this. So that's point binding. Now, layer binding is the reverse application of point binding. And what I mean by that is normally you select the point of the bone and then bind. Now you can see as I select the bone, these bones, the points become highlighted. That's because they show the bound points. So like if I wanted to get rid of this, I would come up to a bone and I'd click release points. Of course, you don't see the highlighting going away until you click on it a second time. Now I click on it, it's highlighted, but you don't see the points attached. But here you do, because I haven't released them. Okay. But for this, I'm going to select the layer now. Okay. Actually, I want to select the layer. I want to select bind the bone to the layer, and I'm going to bind the layer to this bone. That's it. And as you can see now, the layer is bound, but the points on the other bone don't move with the bone because the layer is bound to this bone. So that's about covers bindings and point binding and layer binding and everything I wanted to talk to you about. Thanks for watching. Bye.